I'm Kiera Morgan. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Coffee with Kiera, sponsored by the Human Being in Newport and Lincoln City. And today I'm super excited to be here with Karen. She is the Director for Family Housing here in Lincoln County. Karen, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, Kiera, and to meet you. I am Karen Rockwell. I'm the Executive Director of the Housing Authority of Lincoln County and have been here for approximately 8 months. Very excited to be a part of the community. Um, I am in love with the Housing Authority and what we do throughout the community. So in Lincoln County, we have 242 rental units that we manage and own. And those are for individuals that are at or under 60% of the area median income. And then we also have the voucher program that we manage. So we manage 560 affordable housing vouchers, and that translates into about $3.3 million that we put into our local economy and subsidize the direct market with affordable housing.
And is it hard for folks to find, including yourselves, find affordable housing right now?
The vacancy rates in Lincoln County are extremely small. We're probably at or around 2% vacancy rates for multifamily housing, and that extends the whole breadth of Lincoln County. And it doesn't matter even if it's affordable housing or attainable housing. I think there is a difference. And right now we're having a problem with attainable housing at all levels, and that's people at different income levels being able to have choice in their housing, and that's a problem in every space in Lincoln County.
Do you feel that the problem with the attainable housing is it because the rents are so expensive versus the incomes that our working folks are able to obtain here?
In Lincoln County, I think that definitely plays into it. It's a huge factor. We have a very solid working class and an older population here that is on fixed incomes. And I just did the demographic poll for our properties, and our properties, we are our average area median or average income for our families in our properties is around $16,000 a year. How are you going to be able to afford a market rate home on that salary? And so what you're looking at, that's minimum wage, single mother, for example. You are not going to be able to find market rate housing in that space. So then you have to look at the subsidized affordable housing market to fill that need. And we just don't have, we have 242 units. We're not the only provider of affordable housing in the area, but we are the major provider. So one of the things that we're looking at doing is how can we expand our developments? How can we expand our portfolio? We right now have 3 developments that we're working on. One is under construction, and that's in Lincoln City. It's Wacoma Place. Be 44 units of smaller 1 and 2 bedroom, because we're seeing a great need for the smaller units. And then we have 2 other developments that are in pre development, and that is a nice project, 28 units of mental health in Lincoln City, and that's in partnership with the Health and Human Services Department. And then we have a 12-unit townhome complex in Depot Bay that we're working on, and that is with some disaster recovery funds that we've been able to receive. We're targeting that one toward the middle income, working class income. So yeah, it is. I forget what the initial question was, but yes, the answer is it's hard here. Very hard. Mm-hmm.
So, do you work only with families or do you work with single individuals and seniors as well?
Correct. The answer is everyone. We work with a very wide range of demographics. We have some facilities that are senior facilities or individuals with disability, mobility issues. And then we have some facilities that, like the one that we're partnering with Health and Human Services on, that are focused for severe and persistent mental health conditions, chronic mental health issues. Then we have varying income levels. So we have public housing, which is um, not all housing authorities still operate in public housing. We completely own and operate them, so we can be more flexible with the income requirements. So people who have no incomes are able to find, or fixed incomes are able to find residence there. Um, and then we have family housing. So we have some housing that's designated for families.
And that's really important. I mean, it's super important for families to be able to have a safe place to be able to go. But it's sad when veterans, single people, older people are, they kind of feel like they get left out
Yeah,
of the equation. So that's good to know that there's resources here. Do you provide other kinds of resources for the families that you serve?
we do. We operate it out of the Ocean Spray Family Center, which is one of our uh, buildings. And we also have community centers all around. We've got a community center in Yachats, one in Toledo, um, and then Newport. But the Ocean Spray Family Center is managed by our resident services manager, Eva, and we operate English as a second language programs, GED programs, after school programs. In the summer, we'll have a summer lunch program and super reader programs with the Youth Development Corps. And then we have partnerships with other area entities like Centro de Ayuda, where we can connect them to resources and just help people find stability in their housing.
And you're also doing some work, I understand, with dental vans.
Yes, and I
Seems
keep forgetting that. It's like the most exciting thing for
a
me.
little different,
Yeah,
but it's still helping, again, families and folks to get those resources that they need, right?
exactly. And in Oregon, our children are covered under the Oregon Health Plan with their dental. So the dental vans really are an important aspect for the parents and for our seniors who are not getting the dental appointments that they need. And again, in the rural coastal areas, it's sometimes really hard to get appointments and to find providers. So the dental van program is one that we have been fortunate enough to have grant sponsorship for, and we provide different locations for it throughout Lincoln County. We are hoping to open that up to the community in the next year, but right now it is greatly used by our community members. Mm-hmm.
And Karen, you're also a huge advocate when it comes to housing, and you're on several programs with the state and local. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I am. I'm very excited. I've been an affordable housing advocate for over a decade in Oregon. Most recently, I was appointed to the governor's Housing Production Advisory Council, and that has been very informative. And it's also been able to give our rural coastal region a voice forward in the housing production goals that the governor has. 36,000 units annually is what she's looking to do. We know we have that need in our county for a higher rate of production so that we can have more housing options and choice at all levels. So I'm very excited to participate in that. I'm on two different work groups inside that council, finance and land availability, and it is a housing nerds love. It's just wonderful. Um, and then locally, we are also the Housing Authority of Lincoln County has entered into a agreement with the county to be the office of the homeless response for the Lincoln County Homeless Advisory Board. And we entered into that agreement in January. We are part of that coalition that is working on a unified, coordinated strategic plan in how the county will respond and elevate its programming for homeless activities. And it's been a fascinating process there. We're in the middle of a strategic planning. We're in the middle of public input and looking for people who are engaged in this conversation. We have a new website, lchab.org, and I would really love to encourage people to go check out the website and look for ways that they can can get involved in this process, look at the work groups, or just share their stories, so that we can have a really informed conversation with the municipalities on this regional effort.
That's really important, getting community feedback. A lot of times people say, well, why doesn't this happen? And why don't you do this? But we can't make things happen without people's input and without their voice, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think that's part of what I enjoy about my job is I represent people who can't make it to meetings, and so I like to take the conversations that I hear in my day-to-day work and with my colleagues who are also direct in the field and move into that space where I can then be the liaison and the link to make a wider impact in our region. This is the time, though. Housing and affordability is and homelessness uh, is on everyone's radar screen, and we're in some unprecedented times right now in regards to the funding that's becoming available to address this in a more regional way. So I'm very excited that it's not just talk therapy time.
Mm-hmm.
It is combined with and should see financial support for the activities that come up in a collaboration. It's very hard for we were talking about this before. We're in silos that have been built out of necessity because we are at capacity almost in all of the direct service organizations. Municipalities are constrained by many of the financial caps that we put on in our property taxes in Measure 5 and Measure 50. Mm-hmm. So we don't have funding that we can just throw around. That's just it's not a reality. So we have to look for sustainable ways to manage programs that are the basic necessity programs for communities. And the solutions that we've had before have not been able to scale up to the need that we're seeing today. And I think we just have a really important stretch of time in front of us where if we can collaborate together, if we can coordinate ourselves with intention, our resources will go farther. And it is painful. I mean, it's like doing a group assignment in school. It is painful because people are all at different levels, and we are also in a conversation of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we want to make sure that people who are at different levels are able to come to the table in a productive and meaningful way. So all of this has to be balanced. It's everything all at once right now.
And you mentioned some community partners, but you work with a lot of different community partners to help with housing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, there are so many wonderful organizations working right now on this issue. Some of our direct partners include Community Services Consortium, include the County Health and Human Services. It includes all of the municipalities, and I do love this. This county is everyone on deck. We're all working on it together. But then we also have uh, Northwest Coastal Housing, and we have Samaritan House, and we have so many 501c3 charitable nonprofits that are working to make sure that those gaps are being filled. And my hats are off to all of my colleagues. Habitat for Humanity, for example, of Lincoln County, doing an amazing job with their limited resources as well. Mm-hmm.
All right. Karen, is there anything we may have missed that you would like to add as we're wrapping up?
Yes, because another partner that's in it, but they're one of those silent. They're not silent, but they are, at capacity. It's our faith congregations, and that community again. They are there just as much as our charitable nonprofits, but they are also meeting our often our mental health needs in the sense that they've become counselors to those who are in severe, dire, lonely situations. And I have seen an amazing effort of collaboration among the faith communities to really help with the homeless crisis and the mental health crisis. And then we also have our direct line police and fire. And without them and the compassion that they bring to their service and our community, it's the problem would be just untenable. So I just wanted to pitch that out there too, that it really does. It's all of us working on this issue together. And I'm very much looking forward to how, in my role here, I can continue to strengthen the 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 collaboration and encourage us to be intentionally coordinated, which is it's hurting us cats, and that's really tricky, and it's worth it. So
All right. And if someone needs some help or wants to apply for housing, what do they need to do?
I encourage people to call the Housing Authority of Lincoln County, and we're in the middle of changing our website domain address. So I haven't gotten the new one approved yet. I'm not going to push it to our website, but we are located on Nye Street in Newport. We do serve all of Lincoln County, and we do have housing liaisons here that can assist. We're not emergency shelter and emergency need, but we are certainly people who can help navigate that housing space. So I just encourage people to swing by our offices, give us a phone call, or check out our website, which in the future will be different. So
We'll let you know as soon as we know what that is.
yeah, that's the cliffhanger.
All right, wonderful. Well, Karen, thank you so much for sharing with us on Coffee with Kiera, sponsored by the Human Being in Newport at 6th Street and Highway 101 in Lincoln City at the north end of the highway on the west side next to TLC Credit Union. For Oregon Coast Breaking News, I'm Kiera Morgan.